Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. Or, as I prefer to say, hey, this is the week in Geek. So, the week in Geek is a new venture. It's a selection of things which I've done this week. Might be a television show that I've watched, might be a film that I've been to see, could be, and certainly is in the case of this first episode, an exhibition that I've been to look at. And hopefully, what I plan on doing is reviewing in a slightly more detailed way than my previous reviews the things that I've seen or that I've done. And so, in this first episode, I plan on discussing the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's new film, Spider-Man Brand New Day, something which I'm particularly interested in because it's a Spider-Man film and the whole spectrum loves Spider-Man. A Van Gogh exhibition I went to see. Brief mention of Ride or Die, the new Hannah Waddingham spy thriller. And a little flashback to a Doctor Who episode that I personally think is one of the best New Who episodes that we could watch. So let's start with Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, an epic, almost 3 hour long film that tells the story of Odysseus. Odysseus, the greatest hero of them all. A Greek hero who had fought at Troy, who came up with the idea of the Trojan horse, and who then travelled home to Ithaca in a massive 10-year journey. Now, I'm not enormously familiar with the story of Odysseus. I watched the cartoon Ulysses 31 back in the day, but only sporadically. My biggest exposure to Odysseus was through the Odysseus, the Greatest Hero of Them All books, and the Jack and Ori style television series created by Richard Curtis and Tony Robinson right back in the 80s. Absolutely magnificent, and made me really want to go and see the film.
After years of war, no one could stand between my men and home. Not even me. Promise me you will come back. What if I can't?
I never really thought about why it had taken Odysseus so long to get back. To me, it had always been a tale of he'd he'd upset the gods, and the gods had decided that they were going to make it really difficult for him to get back to Ithaca. Now, the Odyssey, Nolan's Odyssey, it's this magnificent epic. It's huge in its scale. It's beautifully shot, as all Christopher Nolan films are. But what it told me mostly, I think, was that Odysseus's journey home, the Odyssey, was not necessarily all about how he'd upset the gods. What it was actually about was his sense of shame. He was the one who came up with the idea of using the Trojan horse to get into Troy. He was the one who essentially destroyed Troy. And, you know, Troy, one of the most beautiful cities of the ancient world, all the innocent Trojans who'd had nothing to do with the kidnapping of Helen, etc., etc. And because of him, all of those people had been killed. And there's a point, a really poignant point during the film where it becomes really clear that Odysseus's journey home has stalled because he is just too ashamed to go back to those people that he loves. I don't know if that's the actual story, the point of the story of Odysseus, but in Nolan's version of it, that's really why he struggles to get home, because he is so ashamed of what he's done. All the people who complained about there being too much reference to the Iliad and Troy at the beginning and all the way through the film, I think are missing the point. The point is very much that what he does in Troy, what he does on the beach, what he does when they destroy Troy, that's what has caused his problems going home. Nolan has created, I don't want to use it, for him it's his masterpiece, I think. He's clearly gone out of his way to create this big thing that he wants everyone to see, and he considers it to be very much his magnum opus. And, you know, I can see that. It is magnificent in its scale and its scope, but it's that really personal message for Odysseus, the really shameful thing that he's done that makes the whole film really worth watching, really good. Great performances from everybody. You know, some people will complain about the American accents, but everyone has an American accent in the film. And what do you want? Do you want them to speak in Greek? I mean, really, let's be honest. It's an American production, isn't it? So I had no problem with that. I love the performances. Anne Hathaway was awesome. And Tom Holland, who we'll come to again later, did a really good job as Telemachus. John I can never say his name, Leguizamo, awesome. And Jason Bourne, I nearly called him then. Matt Damon, really good in the lead role, really showed how, I'm going to use the word again, how ashamed of his actions he was. I can't speak highly enough of the Odyssey. It was brilliant. Obviously, still not as good as Odysseus, the greatest hero of them all. And if you get a chance, either read the books or try and find the show on YouTube. But brilliant, really good, worth watching. So, at the Utilita Arena in Newcastle at the moment, they are putting on an exhibition called Beyond Van Gogh. It's an immersive exhibition. There aren't actually any paintings there, but it showcases the work of Vincent van Gogh. It's stunning, actually. It starts off quite slowly, I suppose you could say, with some interesting facts about his life, and then you go into a massive space, and it's an experience at that point. There are pictures, there are paintings, all moving, all it's immersive. It is what it says. It's moving. It's carefully thought out how it's played. We sat on the floor, on massive screens around us. We watched as paintings came and went. You could see the depth of the colour. You could see the brush strokes really clearly. It was like having a close-up of the paintings put in front of you. I've never been a massive Van Gogh fan. I'm not an art connoisseur. I like Van Gogh mostly because of the Doctor Who episode, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But this made me think about him really differently. He was a troubled man. He struggled throughout his life with his mental health. He couldn't accept how great an artist he actually was. And through this exhibition, you get a real sense of that self-doubt, but at the same time, it's contrasted with the brilliance, the absolute genius that was this artist. It's not on for much longer if you get the opportunity to see it, and it's moved around because it was in York this time last year. It's moved around a lot, so it may come to somewhere close to you. If you get the chance, go and see it. It is one of the most moving experiences that you could have linked to an artist. It's fab. It really was great. I'm gonna play a clip of Bill Nye now, which is going to seem a little bit strange out of context, but it explains what I've just seen this week, and it explains it perfectly.
Big question, but to me, Van Gogh is the finest painter of the era. Certainly the most popular, great painter of all time, the most beloved, his command of colour the most magnificent. He transformed the pain of his tormented life into ecstatic beauty. Pain is easy to portray, but to use your passion and pain to portray the ecstasy and joy and magnificence of our world, no one had ever done it before. Perhaps no one ever will again. To my mind, that strange, wild man who roamed the fields of Provence was not only the world's greatest artist, but also one of the greatest men who ever lived.
And that very nicely brings me on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which is arguably the best episode of New Doctor Who, Vincent and the Doctor, written by Richard Curtis, who seems to be a little bit of a theme in this episode. It takes the Doctor to France, Doctor and Amy to France, where they meet Van Gogh, who is struggling. He is struggling. It has all the elements of a good classic, of a good Doctor Who episode. It has great characterization. It has a straightforward story with a little bit of a twist. It has an alien. it has oodles, if you like, of humanity. It's written beautifully. There's just so much to it that that recommends it as a not necessarily a starting point, but certainly as a standout episode. Tony Curran as Vincent plays it. He gets the balance of comedy and drama just right. He's very amusing at times. His comment on Amy's accent, for example, but also when he hits the depths of depression, you really believe it. Matt Smith is Matt Smith. He's brilliant all the way through his tenure as the Doctor, but here he plays off Curran. He plays off the grief that Amy is feeling that she doesn't realise she's feeling for losing Rory, and it builds into this whole story of loss and of not understanding how great something is. I return to what I just said about the exhibition and how Van Gogh didn't realise how awesome he was. He lived his entire life thinking that he was a failure, and yet he produced those masterpieces, and that's in that episode. That is there. It's perfect. And then it has that little bit at the end where they think Amy thinks she's worked wonders and that she might have changed his life and made him, and she hasn't. And it's awful that she hasn't, but at the same time, it's that's got to be one of the laws, hasn't it? You time travel, and you can't change what's actually happened, and that makes it even sadder. Again, it's worth seeing just for that story. I've got a little quote here. It's what Matt Smith says, the Doctor. He says, "The way I see it, every life is a pile of good things and bad things. The good things don't always soften the bad things, but vice versa. The bad things don't necessarily spoil the good things or make them unimportant." And in this episode, they definitely added to the pile of good things for Van Gogh. And whilst it didn't stop what happened to him, it gave that little extra brightness to his life. It's such a perfectly written story. And again, Richard Curtis, like he did with Odysseus, the greatest hero of them all, takes a classic story, even if it's not always a story in its real life, and he does something wonderful to it that just makes you remember it. It's my favourite New Who episode. So, as well as the Odyssey this week, I've been to see Spider-Man Brand New Day, which was a bit of a treat for me, to be honest. I wasn't expecting as much as I got from it. There have been lots of rumours about how many people are in it, how many cameos, etc., etc., and I was worried that it wouldn't be balanced. But actually, this has to be the best portrayal of Spider-Man that I've seen. Spider-Man 2 with Dr. Octopus was always my favourite of the Spider-Man films, but this one, the portrayal of the duality of Peter Parker and Spider-Man in this film was so clear and so well played that it blows Spider-Man 2 out of the water. The cameos, yeah, there were lots of little cameos, but they weren't overblown. They weren't too long. Some of them were literally blink and you'll miss it. John Bernthal, who, let's be honest, should be in everything, was awesome as the Punisher. I don't care what people say about, oh, it's not the character of the Punisher. Yes, it was, but seriously, the Punisher does what he does because his wife and family were murdered. So being upset because someone he cares for is in danger is absolutely on brand for that man. Played perfectly. The Sadie Sink character, no spoilers here, was well played as well. It sets up things to come. It has a nice little twist at the end because of it. And so, yeah, that was great as well. Florence Pugh appears. Oh, I wasn't expecting that, and that was great. There was a lot about that film that was awesome. He's Spidey up here, and he's my comic book hero. So I'm always going to love a Spider-Man film, but this one, it starts with Peter Parker in crisis. Spider-Man is doing his thing, but Peter Parker is struggling. He does not have an anchor. He does not have friends who ground him, and he's losing himself. And that is the thrust of the film, that Peter Parker is losing himself. And we see him having to ground himself. He doesn't have Aunt May anymore. She died in No Way Home. He doesn't have his friends because they've had their memories taken away. He's lost, and he's trying to find a way back home. No Way Home spills into Brand New Day, and it is a brand new day, and it's a difficult day, and it's played in such a way that you can see how he struggles, and you can see him beginning to build things back up again, so that he has that base, he has that grounding that Spider-Man needs. And that's always been the thing with Spider-Man. The thing that's drawn me to Spider-Man has always been that he is a real person. He isn't just he's not Superman, where Superman is the thing and Clark Kent is the mask. Spider-Man is the mask. And when he loses Peter Parker, he becomes something that you don't want him to be. And it's that balancing act. I can't do a balancing act with my hands. Ooh, balancing. That makes Spider-Man the perfect hero for me. He balances his real life with his masked life. But Peter Parker is the thing. He is who the character is. And in this film, because he's losing that, the character develops, and it develops really well. Another thing that's well worth a watch. You'll notice that a lot of the things that I see, I love, and I recommend to you. This one I cannot recommend highly enough. Please, 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 if you don't go and see anything else, go and see Spider-Man Brand New Day. It is a cracking take on Spider-Man. It is a cracking take on superheroes, and it is generally a really good film. Finally, just a word on the new Amazon show, thriller, action thriller, Ride or Die, starring Hannah Waddingham and Octavia Spencer. It is exciting, it's thrilling, it's funny, it's emotional, it's all of those things that you want, and it is the answer to the female James Bond. Create something new, put a woman in the lead, perfect. No need to recast James Bond, because actually this is what we should be doing. We should be making roles for women, original roles. She answers all of those questions. Hannah Waddingham answers all of those questions. She is as brave as James Bond. She's as cunning. She's as skilled. She is as promiscuous, if you like. She does all of those things that a James Bond does, but she's a woman and is perfect.
When we met, you okay? I knew we would be best friends. Judith, there is a terrible haircut. Whose is it? You'll see it, but just don't look at it. I found it so moving. Here's to new adventures. Yeah. I still have my glass. Oh my God! Why are they shooting at us? Why do you have a gun? Take the wheel. What the hell? Deb, I'm an assassin. I kill terrible people for money. What if I did it for free? I'd be a serial killer. Who are these people? Your husband stole millions from the mob. Now they're after you. Please just trust me. Trust you. You guys are bringing really bad vibes. Mm-hmm. Big passports. Like surreal. Oh my God, it's British. Can you do a British accent? Hello, Governor. Would you like a spot of tea? Don't speak, I reckon. He's out small-time thugs. I can protect myself. Fuck yeah! Just the most important thing in the world to me.
Make a choice. You're a friend with this organization.
We're going to steal your car. So sorry, sir. We have to get off now. You mean get off? You mean jump? You can do this. Hold on. I just jumped from a moving train and I'm alive. Oh.
Whizzed through all of the episodes, loved every second of it, and I cannot find any fault in the premise. I want more things like this. I want more things where a premise like James Bond has been adapted to have a female lead. I want these things to be created as an original piece. I think Ride or Die works because it is so... It's formulaic, because it could be a James Bond adventure, but it's not. It's got a woman being better than... just go and watch it. Watch it. It's on Amazon. It's funny. It's moving. It's exciting. There's great action scenes. There's great dresses. Just go and watch it. It's awesome. So, there you go. That was The Week in Geek, episode 1, hopefully. If you've enjoyed it, click like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is that you do on these things. And hopefully if I get a few views, 2 or 3, I might come back again. Until then, I will see you soon, or as they used to say, be seeing you.